Hi, I'm Helen Tupper. I'm the CEO of Amazing If and the co-author of The Squiggly Career. And I'm delighted that I'm working with The Fold in support of International Women's Day to share some career tips with you. And today we're going to be talking all about the topic of motivation. So there are two different aspects that I really wanted to touch on with you in the context of motivation. The first one is all around how you can change your motivation. So if you're not feeling really at your best at the moment, how can we change how motivated you're feeling? And the second one is how you can be motivated to make different changes in your work and life. And so thinking about some of the things that will make you more likely to make those changes happen. So first of all, let's focus more on how you can change your motivation. I always look at Daniel Pink's work. His work on drive and his TED talk is excellent. And he talks about three things that really contribute to our motivation. The first is our sense of purpose. So that's really about you knowing the why of your work and being able to connect the work that you do to that purpose. The second is about your mastery. So that's about you feeling like you've got the skills you need to do your job, feeling confident that your strengths are being used. And the last one is all about your autonomy. Do you feel like you have the space and freedom to work in a way that works for you? It's your purpose, your mastery, and your autonomy that create your motivation at work. So the first thing for you to reflect on is, do you know what your purpose is? What your kind of why of work is? The second is, what does mastery look like for you? What are the skills that you need and how strong are they today? And the third is about autonomy. What does autonomy mean to you? How much space do you want? How much freedom do you need? Once you've kind of got an idea of what they look like for you, can be really helpful to score where they are today. So let's put this as a scale of kind of 0 to 10 for each of these and think about, in terms of your purpose, are you kind of low, medium or high? So, I run my own organization. My purpose is to make careers better for everybody. And I feel really connected to my why. So I'm going to go pretty high on that. Mastery is about the skills. Do I feel like I've got the skills to do my job? That's the question you want to ask yourself. I've definitely got an area of growth there. And then in terms of autonomy, how much space and freedom do you have? For me at the moment, I'm in a really good place. But what it helps you to do, and your scores may look the same or they're likely to look different, it helps you to prioritize where you might want to focus. So for me, for example, it's my mastery that's my focus area, putting some effort into developing mastery and building my skills. That's one of the things that will change my motivation and make me feel at my best at work. The second thing I wanted to talk about is how you can motivate yourself to make changes in your work and your life. If there's things that you want to do differently, how can we make sure that you've got the drive to go and do that? Well, our motivation to make change happen depends on a couple of different dimensions. First of all, there's our internal and external factors. So it's, is it an internal drive? Is it something that you want to do? Or is it something that's happening outside of you, a change that's happening in your organization, for example? Is it internally driven or externally driven? The second kind of variable for us to think about is, are you being driven by a positive outcome? Maybe it's about a gain or a growth, or are you being driven by a negative outcome? Maybe you're afraid of losing something or you're afraid of failure. Depending on where you sit in this matrix has a really big impact on the likelihood that you will be successful in making changes in your life. For example, you are very unlikely to make changes happen if something's being driven externally. So you've got a change at work and actually you're feeling like you're going to fail or you're going to lose something and you're quite negative about that change. So if it's being driven by a change, maybe at work, and you're not feeling great about it, you're focusing more on what you're losing, that is a really tough place to make a change from. Similarly, up here, also not a great place. So this is where you've got an internal drive. It's something that might feel exciting to you. It might feel quite appealing, but again, you're thinking, but I'm doing this because I want to compete with somebody else, or I feel like I should, or I'm worried if I don't, that something bad might happen. And what they say here is that if this is the thing that's driving your change, you might make some kind of changes, but you might kind of relapse. So you kind of start off well, but then you relapse into your old ways, your old behaviors. It's hard to make the change stick. Down here, this can be quite positive. So this is where actually you're thinking about what you can gain from a change, but it has been driven by an external factor. So in this situation, this might be an organizational change, a restructure. So it wasn't something you planned for, wasn't in your control, it's kind of happened to you, but actually you're looking at that as an opportunity. You're saying, yeah, I haven't caused this, but actually maybe there's some opportunity for me here. This is where you're likely to make partial change stick. But the most positive place to be is up here. When we get up here, where it's internally driven, where we want this change to happen, it connects maybe to our purpose, we really believe that this can be the best thing for us, and we focus on all the positive outcomes, all of the growth, all the opportunity, all of the learning. That is where we can make change happen most successfully for ourselves in our lives. So I've talked about a few different things there. So let me just summarize. When we're thinking about motivation, it's both thinking about how we can have the motivation to change and how we can change our motivation. And there are a few different factors that are important for us. First of all, we want to think about our purpose, our mastery, and our autonomy, what that looks like for us, what that means for us, and where it is today. And then the other thing we want to think about is those internal, external factors, and also the positive, negative changes that we're focusing on. The best place for us to make change stick is that it's driven internally because we want to do it and we believe it's going to be good for us, and where we're focused on the positive outcomes it will create. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into motivation and some ideas of how you can maybe respond to your own motivation. I personally reflect on purpose, mastery, and autonomy regularly. It gives me a sense of control over the things that really motivate and drive me, and helps me to focus my attentions on things that I can do something about. We've got lots of podcasts all around motivation, so just search for Squiggly Careers Motivation and you will be able to find those. And for more tips, please do head to thefoldlondon.com. There's lots there that they're doing to support International Women's Day this year. And thank you so much for watching this video.